Umar, I can't thank you enough for being on the CEO Global Network podcast. Thank you. I know you got a lot going on. This is a big day for you, and a lot of great things happening in your life and Regina Life business. And so thank you for taking the time to be with us. It's great to see you again.
Oh, thank you. Great to see you as well, John.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be
Well,
here.
thank you. Got a few questions for you,
Sure.
Umar. And the first one, what inspired you to shift from the traditional pharma into longevity and preventive health care?
It's a great question, John. I spent 25 years, most of my career in the pharmaceutical industry, advising to the pharmaceutical industry, built a
Yeah.
company as well from scratch and brought a drug to market for Parkinson's disease. So I had a rich history in that industry. When I turned 50, I started looking around and thinking that, I should take better care of my health. And having a broad life sciences and pharmaceutical background, started digging deep on what technology was available to help me live better, live longer. I worked very hard all my life, like a lot of people in our group and a lot of my peers, and I wanted to make sure that I was optimizing my health after 50. And I just found that the current healthcare system, not just a Canadian thing, by the way, just the Western healthcare system, the way it's set up, the sick care model, doesn't really look for long-term disease or chronic disease very well or manage that very well. So to me, there is a big gap in the marketplace for something that I personally needed and I wanted to provide for my family members and my friends. So that's really what got me started with Regenilife and the switch from pharma life sciences to healthcare life sciences.
Well, that's very interesting, Umar. Thanks for doing that. It's a big help to all of us. How do you see proactive disease detection changing healthcare over the next decade?
Well, the reason I really got into this is I saw the big gap. So if you think about what has happened over the last 120 years since we've had modern medicine at the turn of the 19th century, is we've developed a sick care model that did very well. It took us from an average life expectancy of 47 in the late 1900s to about 85 by the end of the 21st century, 20th century. And you say, well, you've done really well, 77 in some countries, 85 in other countries. So we've done really well. Well, most of the gains we made were curing infectious disease, okay? And with antibiotics, vaccines, and sterile surgery and sewer systems that were cleaning up the cities. So you didn't have transmission of disease, and you had better infant mortality numbers. People made it to adult and maturity much quicker and sorry. However, with chronic disease, which is silent for decades, or for years to decades, if you become symptomatic, it's typically too late. At that point, treating it, you will not get the best outcomes that you want, that you would in the sick care model. So you need a new healthcare model. You need to be able to detect chronic disease as early as possible to give everybody a fighting chance. And what I mean by chronic disease is cancer, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease like diabetes, which is affecting more than 50% of people after the age of 50 in North America at this point. It's an incredible
Wow.
number. And of
Wow.
course, the last big one, dementia. So these four categories account for about 85% of all deaths in North America. So they're all chronic disease. They're not infectious disease. Most people don't die of a pneumonia anymore. Most people don't die of a common cold or of the flu anymore because we have a good sick care system. We don't have a good proactive care system for chronic disease. And that's where Regenilife really comes in.
That's where Regenilife comes in. And what role do partnerships play in scaling Regenilife's impact?
So, again, our model, the way we developed it, we initially were going to just be a screening company. So
Okay.
diagnostic and screening. You come to us, you say, I'm concerned about my heart disease in my family. We do a full heart package, or we do a full cancer package if you've got cancer in your family, or you're afraid that you're at higher risk, etc. But once we realized early on that as we did this screening with the latest AI enabled technology, much better than anything that was available in typical hospital or clinic settings in Canada. We brought them from all over Europe and the US to Canada for the first time. We realized if we handed the patients off to traditional family physicians and specialists, they didn't know what to do with disease this early. They're not trained to deal with disease, deal with cardiovascular disease when you have 10 or 20% inclusion in two vessels. They look at it when you're symptomatic, when you have 60 or 70% inclusion. So we've had to partner with multiple clinics and train them on this new technology, and then really put our heads together on how do we manage cardiovascular disease that we before we're seeing at year 20, year 25, but now we're seeing it year 5, year 10. Okay. And by seeing it early, detecting it early, and treating it early, the outcomes are much better. I can see a day, John, that in our lifetime, that cardiovascular disease will not be the biggest killer for most people like it is today. That's going to happen very soon.
Well, won't that be wonderful? Won't that be wonderful?
Absolutely.
How do you balance scientific rigor, Umar, with the speed when you're bringing new healthcare solutions to market? How do you just balance those two?
And I'm very careful to say this. Speed of bringing new technology requires clinical testing and rigor. But that's getting quicker as well with AI technology. So we can use better tools to de-risk a technology quicker. We're using AI technology in and of itself within in the screening technology and then the decision-making analysis. But even AI is being used to help develop technology quicker and test it, what we call in silico instead of in vitro. The technology is developing quicker and being de-risked quicker, and therefore you're getting better clinical data before you're starting to use it. But on a business model perspective, I think the speed at which things will change will be much quicker. And that's not so much dependent on data from healthcare, from studies. That's basically looking at better business models, virtual business models, the ability to provide care to thousands and tens of thousands of people from one clinical hub, because now we have telemedicine and virtual medicine, and we have technical tools that we never had or could be even imagined that we had up to 10 or 15 years ago. So the speed now in medicine is not just that technology, it's rapidly changing care models.
No, that's very interesting. Now, I know you were in investment banking and consulting for a good chunk of your career, as you kind of alluded to that earlier. What lessons from your time there do you apply as being the CEO of your company today?
So I think the biggest lesson I learned from back there, from investment banking, looking at technology and looking at new industries and how they develop, looking at what their puts and calls and the risk factors are, from a consulting perspective, but really is managing complexity. Managing the complexity of bringing multiple technologies and processes together and putting them in a seamless process flow where both the client has great experience, then we have the efficiency of delivering the service. And that to me really came through consulting with, Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies over the years, looking at big models, but then also understanding how process and people work together to build a business. And that came to me really from my consulting and banking years, but also, of course, working with a lot of my big clients and my numerous clients that I have.
Yeah, there'd be great learning there, no question about it.
Sure.
Umar, I got one last question for you, and then we'll wrap up. What do you think, Umar, will be the biggest disruptor in longevity medicine in the next 5 years? Is there one thing that kind of pops off the page for you?
Well, what's happening right now, longevity medicine is being enabled by AI technology, because right now the AI technology is helping you make tests that were otherwise unsafe to use in healthy people to be able to screen, or tests that were unuseful because they were not giving enough precision. So the AI technology is changing all that. So that's kind of the bracket on the umbrella of why longevity medicine is even coming alive in the last couple of years. But the single, I think, biggest sea change that will happen in the next few years is for diagnostic tools to be used at home. I think we are getting to the point where in the next 3 years, you will not need to go into an MRI for a regular checkup to check for tumors. There will be technology that will be portable, that you can come to your home, or something that you can monitor on a regular basis. So that biomarker acts as a proxy for other changes that may be happening. That level of information that we're going to have about our own bodies is going to be mind-boggling and life-changing for a lot of people.
It is mind-boggling, and it is just extremely interesting, fascinating stuff, Umar. I can't thank you enough for you sharing what you know about this extremely important area, right? I mean, longevity is absolutely critical, isn't it, for all of us? And so I want to thank you for being with us. I want to thank you for what you're doing to help all of us in that regard. And congratulations on the company that you're building. It's just a real testament to you and to your team. So thank you so much for being with us, Umar. We really appreciate it.
And in no small part, I can say thank you, CEO Global. The friendships and partnerships I've built with our group and others in your organization have been unbelievable. And as a result, we can say that in less than a year of operations, we were covered by Best Doctors Insurance today, in no small part because of the network I built through CEO Global. So thank you.
Well, I really appreciate that, Umar. And I remember the first day we met,
Yeah,
and
you do.
it was a while ago now. And it's great to be on the journey with you, Umar. And thank you very much for being part of the SEAL Global Network. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Thanks a lot.